I'm gonna start streaming.
You're doing basically nothing while you were rushing around fixing all this.
Well, I was getting ready for the show, for the Adam and Ryan show.
Welcome to the Adam and Ryan show. It's on a shoestring, like every show.
Oh crap!
Starting out hot, coming in hot.
No, it's good. I think we're good. Now I have some sort of settings on that I should probably not have turned on for the show. So everyone right now is just seeing Adam and Ryan, the show.
Adam and Ryan show. Yeah.
And we've named ourselves
something
a little bit different, right? What is our new show's title?
Well, it's like double drop down, right? Is sort of the larger entity.
Yes.
And this is the Adam and Ryan show on Double Drop Down. I don't know. I don't know if it's solidified into that.
So is it the Adam and Ryan show? Yeah.
On the Double Drop Down network.
No, I think it's the Double Drop Down. The show is the Double Drop Down.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's how it works. So what we're gonna do is we have a good show. We've had
oh man, it's gonna be a great one.
A great year to this point.
Excited.
There's been a lot going on. We've been
end of the year show, right? We're past Christmas. We're on to new things, but we're still on holiday break. This is the holiday break show. I should be twice as drunk as I am right now.
Well, what did we drink tonight?
Hey, damn, it was good. So, I got to come over to Adam's house. Hadn't seen him since Christmas, and got to partake in some amazing whiskeys. One in particular that he was super proud of. This is a Coors whiskey, like a 94 proof.
Yeah, it was
Rocky Mountain whiskey.
First trail. It was delicious. I'm gonna have to get some more in a little bit here. So of course they got me with the advertising. I'm going to liquor store to buy, of course, bottles of wine or whatever.
Yep.
And big old thing, First Trail, and I go and try to grab it, and then what's up? Hey, what's up, everyone? Yeah, we do got to get a new logo, guys, for sure. I'm hearing you on that. But anyways, so I see that sign, First Trail, and just went instantly bought it, and they said it's really good. So I'm excited.
It was. I had some of it. I've been drinking whiskeys and scotches with my father-in-law over the last week in North Carolina, which has been fun. So I had a bit of a taste for it, and I was like, great. Hey, let's try this new one. And it was excellent. I thought it was great.
So tell me a little bit about your trip in terms of just whiskey tasting, because I'm always interested. You talk about your father-in-law, and he's big into whiskeys, bourbons, things like that.
He is,
and I pretend like I am, but I want to know, like, what do you do? Like, how do you talk or hang with somebody like that?
So I am a terrible partner for his whiskey tasting. One, because I feel like my taste buds, man, I do not just have the taste or the smell for it. Like, I just, even wines or food, really, even, like, I just don't, like, I don't know. They don't have a max and a min. I'm in the middle. So I can't really tell the differences or appreciate the finer notes in them. But, he goes to tastings like that and does things, has like very specific types of whiskey. Macallan 12 is his like everyday, like just like have a drink in the evening, right? Like he's just like the old school.
Macallan, is it an Irish?
Macallan. I have no idea. I assume because it says Macallan, but like that's his go-to, which is I don't know. It's good. It's not too smoky. I know that I don't like smoky. That's about the only thing.
How do you get smoky into it?
The barrels, right? They're burned whiskey barrels, right? Or aren't they like charred or something? You don't have any idea?
No, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I would suspect it has to do something with how those casks are built. I know that that's how you get certain whiskeys to pull together.
Yeah.
So like
flavor notes and stuff come from can even come from just the type of wood that the cask is made out of. I know it's a whole crazy thing if you want to get into it. And spend a ton of money.
Well, at this point, I've been enjoying just drinking a couple Colorado whiskeys out there. If you're not into that, it's a fun little hobby.
Here's a hot tip.
Okay.
People want to give alcohol to their friends for Christmas, right? They travel for Christmas.
Ah, okay.
How come I can't buy local bottles of like cool Colorado whiskeys that I want to give to other people in other states to try them?
Sure.
But I can't bring, like, even the little gift bottles are too big to bring on the plane. So I'd have to, like, pour those into separate containers and break the seal and then fill it back up.
Ship it, dude.
But like, there are crazy laws against shipping alcohol.
Oh, really?
I didn't realize. Like,
I didn't know.
You can't ship, like, only certain states can ship to other states, and you have to have licenses to do it. It's why it's like,
why it's a pain in the ass.
it's why you're not buying wine on Amazon, right?
Okay, fair.
Like, there's.
Well, that's why you have those clubs. I remember there used to be like a beer club, some of those other clubs.
Oh, totally. There's a ton of that. And as soon as I start researching whiskey to give to my father-in-law, I am inundated with like ads for that stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm not so much into it that I would like to be able to talk to it at any kind of length, but I definitely like the different flavors, and I know I'm like, I hate that one, and that one's really delicious, and it's easy to have a little kind of cup of something to drink around the holidays.
Plus they're nice bottles, and it's cool, and like you're getting drunk at the same time. So
my Christmas story a couple years ago, actually almost a decade ago, is I had a big growler of this Oregon beer. And I bought it because it had a glow-in-the-dark thing on it. It was called Dead Guy's Ale. And I drank it every year since I would get that growler. And I didn't drink it this year, and I didn't drink it last year. Honestly, I couldn't get my hands on a bottle. But I would drink the crap out of it. They just made a whiskey version of Dead Guy's Ale that I bought this season. Has a little like dude on the top of it, and it's made in the same kind of barrels that my favorite beer is made into as a whiskey.
Man.
So I haven't opened the bottle lid because I'm like, this is
special like come
on.
Are they I mean it's probably not like a super expensive thing, right? Like that's probably their
I don't know. It's
because I just figured because it's from the beer company,
$60 or so. I mean, because they have to. I mean, but you have to get it from Oregon. You know, it's a thing.
I see.
So it's probably took a little bit.
Yeah. I get
so with today's show, we do have a special guest coming on around 8:30.
Yeah, so let's talk about what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do in the show. The whiskey open. It's over.
It's like that was what we were gonna do at one point. It's like start talking about that. Let's take a quick peek because
we don't know enough about it.
Look at the things upside down. That's great.
Hey, it's double. It's double mirror.
It's doubled up. So what we got right here is.
It's upside down.
Yeah, I know. This is what you get. You told you it was
a shoestring.
A shoestring budget.
That's right.
So how would you turn this
upside down? They're real time turning.
Yeah, it's called transform. What would it would be?
I know every time I come in here, it is all completely changed and been updated, and I get a crash course 5 minutes before the show.
Look at that! I got the
Perfect.
Right way. What are we at? 248. 248 degrees. We're at 220. It's coming up.
We're there.
So the funny thing is we're gonna have to switch over to this other side.
Oh, the screen. Here. Well, do you want to show what
it's
we're
gonna have the duplicate here?
Oh, so what?
A second, because we got to turn that nozzle display off here.
I see. And then your upside down one.
We got to undo our stuff. This is why you're supposed to do a little quality control. This is what happens when you drink a lot of whiskey before the show. So I see the Robo Dragon. You don't drink a lot of whiskey.
It's coming. Let's see. Look. See the.
It's squirting out.
Yep. Does that typically happen?
Yeah, it always happens that way.
Just keeping going.
It's because it's heated up, and it's about to squirt out. There it is.
Phrasing.
250. It's gonna go.
Perfect.
I'm not even gonna go walk over there. I'm just gonna see if this.
Just gonna
assume this is gonna do it. So what are we printing today?
Well, so for the new year, like we had some stuff, and we might want to talk about some foosball table prints. But for the new year, I thought it would be fun to do some 2022 light glasses for kids. Do you want to switch over? Should we see it?
Let me check this.
Oh
yeah,
okay,
I got to make sure that this thing starts. We're not even printing in purple today. We're printing in black.
So just happens to have some purple in it.
It's pushing out this new black flavor. You see how close it got to that thing? It's not going to come out for a minute here. This is our our around the edge. Oh, it's coming now.
Yeah.
Is it switching to black? I'm going to call this
tell.
the first layer segment. The first layer segment I was thinking is when we watch.
Because this is an important segment, right? To make sure the whole thing is going to work.
Is this going to even print? We got a couple hours on this guy.
Yeah.
See, it looks really close right there.
Yeah.
Notice how it gets really close, but that's Talon close. He loves that when it gets that close. And like right now, it's too far. But
just because it's on the other side of the...
I don't know, it's a few microns off. See, it's pretty close right there.
It's tough.
But generally, it's coming out pretty well. Like, you want it probably about that close. See how it's squishing it?
Yeah.
It's kind of flattening it.
Mm-hmm.
And right there, it's really close. And it's probably the angle, too.
Yeah, you were saying that the bed is a little lopsided, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's coming off really good.
Awesome.
That's that first little part. So it's a little further off from there. I might go and just jiggle the bed in a second, but I think this is off to a good start. So
hey,
we got that.
And eventually it'll be black, right?
it is, isn't it? That color now? Did it kind of change?
Oh
to
yeah,
black?
it did.
It's
Oh
right
yeah,
next to
it
each other.
slowly changed to black. Do you want to wait? Okay, now show what we're actually printing.
Yeah, where are we at on this? So
Yeah.
we're printing 22 glasses. This
Is that in like
sweet.
Arial?
I don't know what
2022.
font that is. Those are going to be sweet. I think I have some screws for this, but the one problem that I've always had with these, look at, I didn't put any supports,
Nothing.
no supports right here, but I think
Alright.
it'll probably be screwed up right there. You're going to just tape it like a nerd anyway.
Yeah.
Put on some medical
It's
tape.
gotta last for like 10 minutes when I do it right around 2022 and I take a selfie. That's it.
That's what you're going to get it for. Yeah, we need pictures of you in these 2022 glasses.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, so let's hear a little bit about the foosball table. What's going on with it?
Oh yeah. So if y'all been following along with the foosball table,
Oh shit, this is gonna be bad, isn't it?
so we've been creating Halo characters for the foosball table, and long story short, we had gone through some human characters, Covenant characters, all of that, right? Fitting them in, and I had been, we use our foosball table, and so I had been taking the heads off after we had done finishing, testing them and doing things, and then playing normal foosball with it. But I had started to leave them on because I was like, hey, this is fine, we got to leave these on here. So we were actually playing with them in place, not even just like a couple, right?
Yeah, sure.
Jackal, Elite, and Grunt and Master Chief Head were all on there. And actually playing with them on there, I found out some things about it. Just like
let's hear it.
so there's in some of the earlier pictures we have what it shows, like how much space is between the actual head of the actual foosball guy and the floor of like the table and the other foot of the other guy as it comes in, right?
Sure.
There's an extra there's like this much, right? There's a good like inch, right?
There you go.
Well, like even that one, so it sticks out, but normally it doesn't have that, right? It doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. And I was like, great, we just got some playroom to do that, right? Here's the problem. When you actually start playing foosball with it, the reason that the head doesn't go down that far is so when you swing the head around, it misses the ball. It doesn't hit the ball. You can't hit the ball. Yeah, like you can't hit the ball with the head of your guy. Whereas when you put these the hats on them, basically, they swing down and you can hit it. And in fact,
it's a new game.
And in fact, the
that's so awesome.
The jackal mouth who is screaming like this, right? Like, the jackal mouth has his mouth. He's like, ah! He's like, ready for murder, right?
Jackal
was
here.
Literally just like a
God, where is he?
like a hand coming up,
Not even in here.
and like scooping.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So like imagine like scooping the ball up with that mouth.
That's
it was
sweet, dude.
So I'm not saying that that's not a completely different game. Like we might have just maybe we just invented the craziest new version where we're printing spoons and like balls so you can flip it and make foosball a completely different game. I'm not saying that's not what's happening, but if I want to play normal foosball, I don't think we can have like crazy, it can't have that much. It basically needs the clearance.
So what you're telling me is not only are we making a new foosball table, it's going to be a foosball themed new ruled game.
A complete.
Sweet. Because we gotta have some cool new rules.
Yeah,
for that.
that's all right. Like some of them need scoops, and some of them need something where it can grab it and flip it over its top or something.
We should have two of the balls is energy grenades, and then one of them is a human grenade.
Sweet. Okay.
And so then
nice.
you always want to hit the human grenade in.
Yeah.
That would be sweet.
So something. If anyone can think of things for the heads. I feel like that we could change the whole game of foosball. So in between that, I still want to actually have a Halo themed table. So what I'm thinking they're just going to have to be Master Chief heads. And I'm going to do a red.
Every single one of them is Master
I'm
Chief.
just going to pick
different. It goes with the new Infinite theme.
Totally. And so we'll just pick some different, and this might not even be on stream, like pick a bunch of different Halo Master Chief heads, spread them out across there, make one red and one blue, right? Which is already classic and fun.
Yep.
And just be like, it's a Spartan scrimmage, right? I think that's all we're going to get.
Spartan scrimmage. You even came up with the name.
Perfect.
Damn, you're selling it. You're like, I have to sell this concept to Adam because
I don't want to make it to seem like we just
episodes.
sent the last 15 episodes for nothing because I'm an idiot and didn't test it out one time.
Yes. So that just goes to show you how practical we are about these things.
Yeah, it's true.
It's really
it's
fun.
a
But
process.
no, it is. And I think we learn things along the way.
Right.
And one of the things is maybe, give it a try. But I think there's some opportunity for some additional gameplay if we could get that to land. I like the Spartan concept, though, because it really does kind of land on that. Actually, could you grab that Halo logo over there that's sitting on that table? Because this was something I wanted to use our desktop cam. I don't think we've used this that often. So
this is from last time.
Yep.
Oh, it looks good. That was what we printed out when we beat Halo CE finally after all those weeks and on Legendary, and we played some Halo Infinite. It was the Halo Infinite thing, so we did this. I like that. That looks cool. God, all of these, it just makes me want to paint them. But then I'm like, I don't have time to paint.
And then so you'd have to do some sanding on it. And if you remember last time, I just wanted to point this out because Talon was right. It was a little too close on one side and not enough on the other. So some of that bottom bed does not adhere. So, but some of these things that you anticipate, because I want to just to mount this onto something so it's not going to ever see the back of it.
Yeah.
But just to point that out is that, yes, you do got to be a little bit careful on those kind of things. So we got Talon actually in our lounge. He's going to be coming into the call.
He's in the green room.
He's in the green room, kind of hanging out. We still have a little bit of time. We're going to talk about Fusion 360. So if you've not heard of Fusion 360, it's the advanced version of what the hell we've been tinkering with here, and Tinkercad. So Tinkercad is that program, very simple. You use just like geometric primitives and you build little shapes and things like that. And so it's been fun. We've been using that on the show like for most of our work that we've done up to this point. Ryan and I have jacked around on this community. You can make a lot of little fun things, but one of the problems that you have is that you can't get to the specificity and the exact design qualifications that you want.
Yeah.
I think we tinkered around with actually Fusion 360 on the show. I've taken lessons in Fusion 360, but I'm not very good at actually playing that with it and doing the right things and like, oh yeah, I need to go and turn this and do this. So that's why I wanted to bring Talon on and kind of show us today, hopefully.
Totally. I feel like Tinkercad is great to start out with, right? Like it feels good. Like what you introduce people to it, easy to kind of build certain things. And yeah, like my kid who's in 6th grade is building with Tinkercad at school and doing things at home. So
what's he making? Is he making anything we should print?
I know, right? I should ask him. I know he was making things in it he has like a design class. So yeah, I should actually. That would be cool. No, but and then I have I have a 3D, animation background.
Sure.
And so I have like Maya 3D, but they're like they're like how many years old at this point?
Sure.
But anyway, that's like that's like so complicated.
It's really
it just takes
complex.
me it would take me weeks to just even get back into, doing stuff in it. So this feels like a perfect like in between. That I would love to learn more about. So I'm excited.
No, and it's really cool because apparently it's just used across the board. I watched this video on all the different things that you can look at for like these CAD programs, this Autodesk that they make.
Yep.
And they make like 50 billion programs out there. And they just took it out and they said, this one is great for this. This is great for this. And it was really helpful to see all the different pieces. Some of them are basically like, you don't build the full CAD drawing in here, but this one is great to like do this one little thing of putting notes in all these rooms at scale. And so it started to make sense how they're all interconnected, but it seemed like Tinkercad, Fusion 360, obviously just AutoCAD, Autodesk, the main CAD program was like big. So all of those were the top of the line pieces. So Fusion 360, I love it because you can get into it and you could build parts and you can really print and build things that are going to be pretty helpful. And I think this is where we need to invest more of our time moving forward.
Now, Fusion 360, is that a specifically 3D printing thing, or does it just like
3D
have
design?
kind of,
It's like
it's just a 3D like modeling program.
It's a modeling program.
Okay.
And then there's Blender out there.
Yeah.
So Blender is going to be something that's going to be helpful in a different capacity, and we're not going to necessarily go there today. Maybe Talon will bring us into some of that piece, but we're going to work with Blender at some point in the future. It's more modeling and animating and doing different things aside from like Fusion 360 being the part. You want to build the part and build the plans and make the things to all these specifications. And then you go to Blender and you're like, I want to just model something and I don't necessarily have the exact specificity and I'm going to put these pieces together. At least that's my rough approximation of what that is, if that was the right word.
Nope, you missed it twice.
I know I did. I've been doing that a lot more lately, and I'm pretty sure it's because I'm getting older.
That could be. I've just got to lose it a step. Lose a step.
I do, and it's true. It happens. It's gonna come for you. I'm not even messing.
No way, not for me, man.
I know, Peter Pan that shit. All right, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna get. Let's take a look at the print.
I was gonna see,
let you jump in there, and I'm gonna see if I could get
is,
Talon joining us on this call here.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna switch it back to the 3D printer cam. See what we're doing. Oh, see, they look cool already.
Hopefully it does. It has little pieces in there. It seems like it's doing what it needs to do.
Are those were just specific tiny little pieces?
Yep. Huh. I think it's part of the design.
Oh, sure. Like the inside of the tube. You made it super complex. Apparently.
Talon, are you out there? Please join our call. You are now being called forward from the green room.
I love that.
The 3D printing there?
No, the green room.
Oh, I know. It's so nice.
Your calls have been answered.
Oh, Talon has joined the room. Hello. How are you today?
Hello. Good to be here.
Good.
Hey.
Do you have a camera, or are we doing this camera?
I do have one of those cameras.
Hey,
oh my goodness!
One of those wonderful Zoom filters, because my office.
Let's
is
see
a mess.
if this works. Oh, there he is.
Nice.
And I think you could see us there. So, Talon, I don't think you've ever officially met Ryan. So Ryan,
that's
Talon,
right. Yeah,
Talon, Ryan.
Hello, thank you for being on. I heard so much about you.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen enough about you. Been on the in the stream for the last while.
Exactly. Nice. No, well, so I'm excited to because I always I hear about the legend of Talon from Adam, and especially from this, and like it's always just great to have you in chat and talking about things, which is amazing.
So, Talon, tonight you were going to talk a little bit about Fusion 360, about a few of those things, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But what we wanted to know a little bit about is just your background. Like, what got you into 3D printing initially? What are the things that, or even just designing parts and pieces and things that we can talk to you about?
So it's a little bit all over the place. I originally watched a bunch of like 3D printing videos kind of on YouTube, probably where a lot of people started. And then I found out that my high school had an unused 3D printer that we just had sitting around in like a drawer for like years. So I just like went through and I started the process of beginning to create like a 3D printing station for the students. But unfortunately by that point, it was my senior year. So moved on and then started doing some 3D printing at my university, which is where I'm working now.
Nice. So what kind of 3D printer did you have in that drawer?
Yeah.
It was, like every school, a MakerBot.
A MakerBot. I was going to say, of course.
The terrible MakerBot.
That's probably why it was in a drawer, right?
It belonged there. So
it's because, like, can we just take a sidebar on MakerBot? Because I think they need some shade, because their printers have been very ill built the last few we bought. And we bought it for the school thinking, oh, this is education made. And for whatever reason, they've given us terrible prints. And it really soured my thought on that. And is there any reason why? I mean, what's the thing with MakerBot? I did watch the series on Netflix, or at least the show on it.
So MakerBot used to be like really top of the line, kind of like back in the past, because like in those 2014 eras, there was only 2 or 3 companies who were making like 3D printers, and they were all like $10,000 machines.
Right.
So then MakerBot comes on the field, and they're like, "Hey, we can do the same thing these $10,000 machines can, but for $2,000." And at that point, at that time, this technology was like incredible for $2,000, but they never got cheaper. So like all the machines we're running now are like $200-$300, and they're all better than these $2,000 machines.
And they never got better, and they never seemed to innovate. Like I didn't see some of the newer innovations. And then is it true that they were a little bit what was it, using proprietary software or at least different programs to be able to use some of the printers?
A lot of the early MakerBot stuff, they were so innovative because they were very open source.
Yeah.
So they allowed the audience and like their fans to help them with new ideas, new designs, and stuff like that. And then one day they just decided they wanted to be like Apple, and they closed everything down, and they've been stagnant for 10 years since.
Oof. Well, I mean, it's unfortunate, and I don't want to I appreciate them.
Let's just spend some more time dunking on them. I feel like easy target.
I'm glad that they pushed the industry, but now we're at this point, and I got to say I'm a big Creality fan, but there are other printers out there too, and I know that for sure. And I know you have a few, and there's probably a few in that blur around you. But tonight, one of the big reasons that we'll have you on the show, and I'm sure you're going to be a guest on here in the future, but is if you could give us a little bit of your insights on when you cringe, when you've been watching us be in Tinkercad, and you're like, oh my God, that could be so much better if I were to do this in Fusion 360 or some other program. Is that something that you could do for us tonight?
I mean, it's not something I'm going to really focus on, because it's not that I have anything inherent against Tinkercad. I think it is a great way for people to get into 3D modeling if they haven't before, but it's very easy to outgrow it quickly. And I think that the years that you guys have spent on Tinkercad might have been better suited learning a different program like Fusion 360. So
well, that's good, because you know what? The thing is, we need a teacher, and you are that teacher. So tonight we have a few in the chat, a few on the stream, and we're going to be using this in the future as a reference point, at least a starting point for Fusion 360. And so hopefully you won't mind us asking you a few questions as we go along the way. We don't need to hit the ground running as a complete beginner, but if you wanted to just to jump in and give us a little bit of the heads up on what Fusion 360 is about, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, let's just go on. I have it open. Let me see if I can figure out how to share it real quick.
Yeah, let's see if we can get the share on. That'll be fun.
Oh, good. We didn't have this all set up beforehand, and I assumed we weren't going to be going in and then telling us like through audio. Wait, no, button. Go left, like no further left. Ugh.
I mean, is that how you want to do it?
No, absolutely how we want to do it. You're doing it perfect. We're gonna float above above the screen a few times and talk to you. So this looks great.
Yeah, so this is kind of the default interface that you see in Fusion 360, and it's a good time that you guys asked me, because I actually really needed to make a new headset mount for one of my headsets, so
awesome.
I'm going to go ahead and start working on that.
So, I have a little annotation tools that I may be annotating as you talk. You may not see it. Well, actually, we probably could even in the Zoom as well, but I might point things out as we go along.
Okay, so just diving straight into it. Fusion 360 has, I consider, a 3-step workflow, and that workflow is sketch, constrain, extrude. Those are the 3 things that you'll be doing over and over: sketching something, constraining it, and extruding it. So this top button up here is how you go ahead and create a sketch. And I know you guys have looked a little bit into Fusion 360 before, but I'm probably going to go into it probably more in depth than I need to.
That's all good.
So once you select that, it's going to bring up which of these 3 work planes that you want to go ahead and create your sketch on. It doesn't really matter whichever one you put it on. It's just kind of preference. So I'm just going to go ahead and slap it on this one. And now I'm going to go ahead and get into the first steps, which is going to be sketching. So I can use this little, the 2-point rectangular tool, and I'm just going to sketch this rectangle wherever I want. It does not matter. But then from there, now that I have a basic sketch, the next steps are going to be constraining it where I want it to be in the dimensions that I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and take the point tool, and if I hover over the middle here, do you see how it has that little like triangle?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that indicates that that's the midpoint of that line.
Is that
so
X
I'm going to do that.
That's coming up? So when you highlight that line, I see that you go back and forth with an X, or is it going on those little grid points? It's like
Yes.
Oh, I see.
So it is trying to stay on this line because my mouse is close to it.
fair.
And then the little grid points are probably, I never really use the grid points, but they're there if you really want to. So from there, I can take this little point, and this entire red section here are the different constraints you can use. So these are what are going to be locking this image where you want it to be. So I want this little point to be in the center. So if I go ahead and click the little point, shift click the center, you'll see a lot of these start to go dark because I can't use them now. And there's this one right here, coincident. When I click this, it makes those 2 points that I just selected on top of each other.
So they intersect. Coincident.
Yes.
Coincide.
And we were always having a problem, like you can't just move that square normally, right? Like that's how you're moving it onto the plane, right?
You can move it, but do you see how it's like stretching and warping?
Right, yeah.
So if I go ahead and can I redo that? No, I don't think I can. So when I do this command, you'll notice, oops, I put that in the wrong spot. You'll notice that the bottom wall of this little rectangle I have, it'll go black once this has been constrained. Do you see that?
Yes.
So the black line means that that line has been constrained and it knows exactly where it wants to be in 3D space. So if I go and click a wall now, you'll notice that everything is moving except for that bottom wall that I have. That always stays here.
And what's the purpose of that? To have just to like lock in those sections so that it's
I believe, just to interrupt, is that you can constrain pieces together and so that you can make movable parts within the program. Is that part of what you could do with those? Like have different parts that actually, like, if you rotate one against another, you're saying this one only goes this far, whereas this one goes a different direction.
A little bit. That kind of goes into like the bigger piecemeal thing. Like right now we're creating an individual part.
Gotcha.
There's a whole other side of this that we're not going to touch that's about different parts and how those different parts interlock and things like that. That's probably a little too much for
it's going to take
for
deep.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just continue on with this. We're constrained to the, what is that, the x-axis or what axis?
I don't, yes. So you can see we have a little movement widget up here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the red one is the X and the blue one is the Z.
Gotcha.
Again, I don't really memorize that too much because it doesn't really matter per se, because at any point I can rotate this entire thing onto a different plane. I can do whatever I want with it basically. So don't be too worried about where your sketches are.
So you're basically going to try to build it sort of in 2D almost at this point, right?
You build it in 2D and then you extrude it and you just keep that process going.
Cool.
So we can see here, I've now set how tall I want it to be. This line is now black, but you can see that these lines are still blue. And at any point, you can just click something in Fusion and just wiggle it and see what moves.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you
nice.
can see this moves because the top hasn't been defined. So I can just go in, define the top, and now we have a beautiful little square.
And everything's constrained.
Yes, this is actually taller than I think I wanted it to be, though. So these are completely dynamic. At any point, I can go in and I can change these. Even in future steps, this doesn't matter.
Okay.
So now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and draw another rectangle. And I'm going to do basically the same thing that I did before, except changing exactly where it is. Boop, boop. So I want this one to be on top here. And this one, I think I want to be a little 1 inch by 1 inch square. There we go.
And these are two different sketches, is that right? Or is it all in one sketch?
Yeah.
Well, this is one sketch. These are different shapes or something.
Right,
they're called.
elements.
Gotcha.
In there, yeah.
Yeah. So I can get these out of the way. It's good to have nice little, like, clean locations for, like, your dimensions so you don't get confused.
Sure.
The next thing that I want is if I draw a line right in the middle of my original square, I can click this line and press the X key. And do you notice how it's dotted now?
Yep.
That means that this is a construction line. So it's not a real line. You can see when I hover over this, it's still one big square. But I still have this little line in the middle that I can use for other things.
Like alignment and things like that?
Yeah, like a ruler,
Yes.
like a ruler tool or something.
Yeah. So if I go here to the mirror tool and I double click this square and it highlights the entire thing, you can see that the mirror wants an object and a mirror line. So I have my object selected.
All the four lines.
So now I can select my mirror line and it throws it on the bottom.
Ah, and at the same distance because that was in the exact middle.
Yep, and that's why I set this mirror line here. You can use like the default like plane lines as mirror lines. So for instance, like this y-axis and the x-axis here, but that wouldn't get it on the bottom of this square like I want it. Because now if I take this, because it's all dynamic, if I say I want this 4 inches, Notice how the entire thing dynamically shifted, but these are still mirrored exactly where I want them to be.
Right. Cool.
So that's the power of these kind of constraints, is now no matter what I change, it's still all going to stay the same.
And that's probably really handy as you start tweaking things when there's really more complex shapes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is this?
And that's one of the. Go ahead.
Is this how you would start? Like, so like almost every project starts as a 2D like
Yes.
part of it, right? Even let's say I was making some kind of crazy ogre face. You know, like, I mean, I could see it being great for like wheels or things with axle, or just I'm seeing right here like parts of things that are very symmetrical. Is that how they would start with like asymmetrical things?
Probably. The Fusion,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say is the best organic modeling program.
Okay.
So there are other things you can do, like previously I remember Adam showed you like this create form option. Oops. Where you can like create a shape and like warp it and stuff like that. I don't really fully know how it works, to be honest.
Sure.
And you can do stuff with that, but I don't really use a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I primarily use it for kind of engineering things.
Nice.
With very like defined axis and stuff like that.
Cool. So I didn't mean to throw us off.
No,
Track
you're good.
there.
Well, this is learning, so do not use it for your
Yeah,
your crazy organic pieces. But
I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying I wouldn't know where to teach you.
Sure.
So we've sketched, we've constrained, and now it's time to extrude. So this little button up here is the extrude button. Once you've selected that, it's going to ask for what sketches that you previously used and you want to extrude. I can just click all three of these and tell it how far I want to do it. And what's really nice about Fusion is you can put like any kind of like mathematical equation or anything in here, and it'll still understand what you want. So for instance, I just put 1/8 in there, and it knows that I want 0.125 inches.
Nice.
And then at any point also, which is something very useful, if I just put a millimeter in there, oops, not right after the 8. No, I guess it doesn't want to do it. If I do like 1 millimeter, you can see it's taking the 1 millimeter and it's converting that to inches.
Okay.
So if you're someone like me who's like uses a mix of units more frequently than I should, it is an option.
No, that's good. I do that a lot.
and I tend to find myself when I do like 3D printing the work in metric, but then it's hard to think which one I'd want to use if I were going to be in a program. It seems like you're using inches though.
So yeah, so you can change it at any point in this document settings. If you just click down, you can see inches.
Oh yeah.
And I could just switch this over to be like millimeters or something else.
That's a quick and easy way to do it. Man.
Nice. So if you wanted to extrude this as like a rounded surface or something like that, would that be the same sort of? Is that just a different setting of extrude?
So there are a lot of different types of extrusions, I guess you could say. For instance, one of them is this revolve here. So if I select this, I can now select the faces that I want and the axis that I want it to revolve around. So if I click that, you can see now this is the shape that I've got.
Right, exactly. Cool.
Looks like a little wheel thing.
Little bearing.
It's a sprocket.
Yeah, bearing.
And you can also see down here, I was just playing with the timeline.
Yeah.
It gets very complex very fast, but you can scrub back and forth between any steps that you want to add or change things.
So, cool.
Can you delete a step in the middle?
Yes. I actually did there with that revolve. I just got rid of it.
That's cool.
So now we're going to go ahead and add a new sketch. And you can see I can now put the sketch plane on the previous face that I've developed. So it's already on. If you kind of take a look, it's a little tough to see, but you can see kind of the plane is not. It's parallel to this face is what I'm trying to say. So then now I need places for screw holes. I'm just going to throw that there. I don't know exactly how big a screw hole needs to be, so I'm going to say 5 millimeters.
Sure. You probably get 5mm screws.
I didn't pre-measure that part.
Yeah, that would be probably about right.
Totally.
Then I want to align these to the middle, so I would do a few different things. No, I don't want to do it that way. The difference with this kind of 3D printing or 3D modeling is it's very problem solving focused. So I'm sure there are more right ways of doing things.
Right.
But if you succeed in any meaningful way, then it's complete. So
yeah.
So I've added a new point here. I can click on my previous point and I can strain that to the middle. And now you can see it's completely black. That piece is completely constrained and we can move on.
And those are that's just another object or whatever that you just created, not specifically like a hole or.
Yes, this is just a circle sketch and I can do anything with this afterwards.
Okay, nice. Punch it out.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do exactly what we did before.
Mirror it.
Mirror line.
Yeah. Mirror it.
Mirrored it.
I knew we were going to have to mirror it.
Choose the mirror. You don't have to, but again, this means at any point in the I selected the wrong thing. See, that's what happens there. I mirrored the point in the center of the circle.
Oh.
So let's go ahead and change that. So I can go ahead and double this mirror constraint, can I? No? Is that not something I can do? A lot of these like steps you can like edit by double clicking them, but I guess mirroring doesn't count, so it doesn't want me to. So I'm just going to delete that. Try again, select the outer edge of the circle and the mirror line. There we go. And just like before, it's very nice because at any point I can decide that I actually want this to be 10 millimeters, and this one changes dynamically.
See, that's nice.
Yeah, totally.
Especially when you're working in symmetry like that.
Yeah.
And what's great about that is in the front, something that I didn't really go over, this change parameters button. I'm not sure. Yeah, it does pop up. Look at that. So this is actually where you can create variables for your program. So if I click this little plus here, it wants the name. I'll go ahead and call this like screw size. Change what unit it is, and I'll say 5. And you can put a comment if you want. And now the screw size variable is something that I can use throughout my entire sketch. So you don't have to remember certain dimensions for things if you use something a lot.
Nice.
So I can go in here and change this, and you'll see screw size pops up as a user parameter. Click, and it accepts it.
And it pulls in that. That is so handy. It feels like we need you right here.
Well,
if we want to design
things. You know, like you were saying, it's so much better to do that in when you're creating things that need to be all the exact same size and exactly in the middle and exactly here. Like trying to fuss with it by eye, it's like impossible.
Yeah. So I've gone ahead and I've done the extrude, because extrude also doubles as the cut command. So I've selected both of the faces that I want. And to cut through this object, the easiest way that I like to do it is just click the back where you want it to cut through. And you can see now these have changed to red, and you can see it's going to cut through it.
Oh, nice.
And now we have my little screw holes. And just like I showed before with this parameters thing, this is entirely dynamic. I don't even have to go back into the screw size anymore. I can just change this to 10 millimeters, and you can see it instantly
right,
update.
yeah.
I can see where, like, in Tinkercad, it could get all the way to that point, but then, like you said, change your screw size. Boom, it's done across the whole board.
Yeah.
And there it is in 2 seconds. That just pays for itself already.
And the crazy things you can do when you start getting into like a lot of the like tolerances and stuff is you could actually, when I went back to the first sketch that I did, and this is half of this. So if I say always want this to be half of this, I don't have to make this a variable. I can just select this, and you'll notice now it says D1 for dimension 1 divided by 2. And now that is also driven by this one. So if I change this to 4, you can see that dynamically adjusted to be 2.
So you're using formulas. It's like Excel on steroids and in 3D. It's amazing.
Yep. So for the last touch for these little screw holes, I think I want a little little inset. What is that called? The little.
Oh yeah, I know. It's like a bevel.
Countersinking. Is that what it's called?
That might be what.
So down in the modify tab, there's 2 important ones. There's the fillet. I think that's pronounced fillet. It might be fillet. I took a class in this.
Fillet's a delicious fish that you might be able to eat.
I think it's fillet, yeah. And then there's also chamfer. So these are different beveling options. So this you can see smooths out edges, and the chamfer does them straight. So I'm going to use the chamfer. I'm going to select both the edges that I want, and then I can say exactly how deep I want it to go. But for these, I usually just grab this little handle and just kind of see. So
you can kind of adjust it. Oh yeah, that looks great. That will really inset it, because you're trying to make it so the screw head is flat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait. We have to take a second, check in on our print for just a moment, Talon. We gotta see how things are going. Let's see here. We have.
Let me see if that nozzle is too high.
I don't know if you're seeing this. No, it's looking.
So you have to watch the stream.
This is still the first level. No, this is the. He sees all this at this point. No, that turned out really good. All right, sorry to interrupt.
It's looking good.
No.
You continue on with the.
Okay. And the last thing that we need is the little arch where I'm going to put my headset on. So arches are a little terrible. Probably due to my own lack of understanding. There are probably better ways of doing it, I'm sure. But something like this is always a learning process. So
Sure.
if I go down here into the arc tool, you can see there's a bunch of different types of arcs. I'm just going to use a 3-point arc. So the way that the 3-point arc works is you choose the starting point, the ending point, and then the middle point. So I'm going to do that. There we go. And just like before, I'm going to throw a little point there so I can make sure I can modify this. And I am going to say that I want the middle to be 1/2 inch away from the edges. And then I also want the middle to be actually aligned with the middle. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to grab the center point that's already in this hole, and I'm going to choose this one. And I don't know if it's going to let me do that, actually. No, it's not. So back to the original plan. Draw a line just to have a line. Make it a construction line. Draw another line. Construction line. And then I'm going to make these lines collinear. So now you can see by selecting collinear, these have now gone straight onto the middle of the axis, and I have the centerpiece right in the middle of my design.
Is that like align, basically? Like an align tool?
So you have to have the construction lines to be able to know what to align.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't do a collinear with points, because points aren't aligned in any way. So for instance, if I select this, I could decide I want it to be horizontal or vertical. It'll slap to the vertical position. Then if I select these two lines and select collinear, you can see now wherever I move these lines, they're always on the same plane.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like it's more than just aligning it. It's like linking them too.
Yep.
And I've noticed that these have gone a little off a line too. So I'm going to create a line between these 2 points, and I'm going to make that a construction line. And just like I did before, I'm going to set that to be horizontal. So now this is nice and flat and right in the middle.
And do those construction lines, does that ever end up getting messy? Like you have a bunch of those all over because you're trying to align things and do things?
It can, yes.
Yeah.
I have some fairly complex projects.
Where they're just like crazy blue lines or
But they're attached to
brown lines.
the sketch, right?
Yeah, and that's why you try to do these in like individual pieces. I could have done all of this in one sketch and then just extruded it in different parts.
Sure.
But this allows me to kind of have more fine precision over all of them in the future.
And you could probably toggle their visibility, right? In case you just
so
wanted
you
to
can see actually
focus.
up here, I can just turn them all on,
Yeah,
turn them
cool.
all off as I need to. You'll also notice that these two are turned off because when you use something for an extrusion, it'll automatically hide it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So the last set of things that I need is I'm going to go ahead and choose rectangular pattern. And this is how you can get an array. So you can see as I pull this down, it has 3 of them. I don't need 3 of them. I just want 1 of them. So you can, I'm not sure if you can see that too well. Can you see this black line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little
I'm gonna
bridge.
I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. I don't think it matters too much. That feels about right. Up. Then I can connect these with a line. And now I have the little piece that I can go ahead and extrude. Let's just make that 1 inch. I think that's long enough.
That looks good.
I
So
see.
the last thing, and I'm going to cheat a little bit to make this a little quicker because I'm lazy, is I've gone ahead and created a new sketch on this face, this like furthest out face.
Yeah.
So then I can go ahead and do offset and click this previous face and pull it out. How big do I want this to be? 0.1 feels right. A lot of this is about feeling. If you're me, you kind of just, you feel what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. This is good. It's feeling pretty good.
So I've created that offset, and then just I've just created these little lines here just to kind of separate these 2 faces.
Now, when you say it's an offset, that's just another face. That's like a sketch, right?
Yes, this is a new sketch that I've created that is
Like
just
based on
outwards.
the plane,
Yeah.
right? Based on that like
Yeah.
very outward plane. It's sort of like
So-
copy that and add that there.
Yeah. So you can see if I hover over this, it creates the blue line around the
Yep.
the kind of curve that I've selected. And then I can kind of pull this inward to just kind of create like an in-cut or an inset.
Cool.
But I went outwards for this specific command. So there we go. Now I have that set. There is the trim command that I don't use too much because I tend to find it breaks constraints. But it allows you to kind of get rid of kind of unnecessary cut bits.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see how I got rid of all of that?
Sure.
But now none of this is properly constrained because it's blue and I can wiggle it around. So that's why a lot of times I will just leave like extra faces here. It doesn't seem to slow down the program too much, but it stays constrained, and I like that. And things don't have to be constrained. For instance, it would be perfectly fine if I extruded this in the future, but a non-constraint part tends to mess up a little bit if you start changing things.
You move things and edit. So
Yeah.
it's going to be what Ryan's 3D printed
Yeah, exactly.
setups are going to look like.
So like you're basically trying to have sets of objects like constrained together. Like is that kind of like so basically you're sort of grouping them together in logical pieces.
Yeah. And you're telling the program, how do these things relate to each other?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I've gone ahead and finished the sketch, and now I've selected just this top face, and I'm just going to pull it inwards a little bit, like that. And then now we have a little rim. And then just to show off what the fillet tool does, yes, I called it the fillet tool.
Yeah, he's back and forth. You know, you gotta, hedge your bets.
Give it a little.
See, that makes it look nice. Look at that.
Yeah, see, these are the little flourishes we've been
casual.
missing.
That's
and if I was doing this like to actually like fully print out before I check the dimensions, I probably would just like select every possible surface and give it like a fillet because
exactly, totally.
Oh, like look at that. Oh, that's something you would find at Lowe's.
the sharper image, man.
And there we go.
Can you export that and give it to us in the chat?
Yeah, absolutely. After I chamfer these angles because I want them to be chamfered. No corner goes unchamfered.
Yeah, exactly. What is this? So you know how you were talking about like building things 2D. How easy can I just bring in SVGs into this and start with a base shape?
Yes, you can bring in SVGs, but they work on a curve kind of functionality. So let me think of the best way to. So like there are like the no, it would be a spline, I suppose. Well, so I'm just gonna give like a rough example. So they kind of work on this like spline system, like you'd expect an SVG to be, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where you can like change these, and I'm not very good with them. Is the problem?
The Bezier curves.
Yeah. So it is possible to bring them in and edit them, but it can be a little bit wonky sometimes. But for instance, what I do a lot of the time in my kind of personal stuff is if I pull up a good set, let's do this one because I liked this set. That one is I bring in a lot of logos and stuff for a lot of my like commission work that I do. So you can see that this die that I made, and you can see the incredible timeline that goes into making this. All of these numbers are like the built-in text feature, but then the 20, of course this one doesn't have it. Typically, the 20 will be somebody's logo, and I'll import that as an SVG, slap it on the face that I want, and then I can push it in.
I see. So it's more like simple, like using it as its own simple shape as opposed to like starting, because I was thinking like, oh, you could do drawings, I could have these SVGs, and I would like start extruding them out and adding things to them and using it as the main sort of design, but probably not a good idea, right?
You can do that. That's like completely an option. It's just something that I personally am not as good with.
Sure.
Really, neither of these two had the logo on the 20. How sad
what
is
the
that?
heck?
That's why you wanted the logo before the show. We need to get you some double drop down.
I was
exactly,
gonna slap
some
it
dice.
on our project.
Oh man, that's gonna look
these
so
little like underlines on the 6 and the 9. This was an SVG, and I'm never gonna be able to find the sketch for it. I think. Oh, maybe.
That cool S. It's that cool S.
It's the S from
Where
school.
you drew the 3 lines and then the other 3 and.
Is the cool S.
The cool S.
Yeah, that was an SVG that I imported and then extruded from there. So this is a functional surface, and you can go in and like make tweaks and stuff to this afterwards.
Nice.
It's just not something that I think I would necessarily do myself, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it at all.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Man, Talon, that has been an amazing way for us to introduce ourselves, and I feel like I cannot still reproduce it unless I just like played with the program
totally,
crazy amounts, right? How often do you play in this program?
I have, so it's a little biased for me because I'm an engineering student.
Fair.
So I've taken an official class in SolidWorks, and then I've spent a couple probably like 2 years in Fusion at this point. Kind of just like doing like little things for myself, and then also the dice commissions that you saw. So
Yeah.
I would say I have a little more experience than maybe the average watcher.
Well, what you need to, if you can just export that and send it to us over in the chat, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So what I would recommend is when you do exports in this program, is let's just call this like what is it? Headset stand. There we go.
Headset holder.
So it has a whole bunch of different things it can export to. However, it doesn't inherently support OBJ and STL. If you do OBJ or STL, it has to do like cloud-based exporting, which is slow and really frustrating. So I would recommend just using good old 3MF because it works in all of your 3D printing files.
All right.
Nice.
So there we go. Nice and quick. If I did that as an STL, it would take like 10 minutes, but it's done.
And if you brought that into a different program, would it be its own separate pieces, or does it like combine any of that together?
That would depend. So yes, if there were multiple bodies, which there's only one body in this example, but if I just really quick do like a copy command, body, bop, bop, create copy, move. So if I exported it like this, it would create 2 objects in one STL, or 3MF, or whatever you save it as.
Okay.
So that's why if you wanted to save them separately, there are a few ways of doing it. There's one way I wouldn't recommend, which is if you right click, you can go down to where is it, save as mesh, and then you can save it as a 3MF. But that has like some really weird scaling issues. Like whenever I save it like this way, it always ends up like 1,000th of its true scale or something. So I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. I would recommend just hiding the previous body and then exporting it.
Oh, right.
That's what I do for most of my projects.
When you have multiple things. That's, I think, what we were having when we were trying to put into glasses earlier, or something like that.
Yeah, it was happening.
And the origin might still be a little wonky. I don't know a great way of moving the origin of the object. That's probably because I don't pay attention to where the origin is, but oops.
I like that classy shadow that's being cast by it as well. That's
oh yeah,
pretty handy.
You can do a lot with this. You can like estimate how heavy and how much it would cost if you manufacture this out of steel. Like there's a whole bunch in
See, that's where you get into it for Fusion 360. It gets all crazy there. So
Tinkercad's not doing that.
Well, thanks for the demo on that. I think what we're going to do is we're going to invest a little bit more time on fabricating some of our parts and some of our pieces as we move forward, going in the and of course getting your insights on that. I do have a separate question aside from the 3D and Fusion 360, Talon. How's how's Halo Infinite going for you?
I have finished the 3rd book and I'm on the 2nd game. So I'm
so you were far away. You're 3 years away from playing Infinite.
I really didn't expect Infinite to come out that fast. I finished First Strike, so.
Oh my god! All right, then. So you have no opinions. You're not going to even be able to watch the rest of your show for 3 years. How do you feel? How do you feel about that?
Start doing the multiplayer, and then I can like watch that or something.
We will get to the multiplayer. We're going to show a little bit of campaign pieces today, not necessarily story beats, but things that can kind of
just fun stuff that Adam ran into.
Fun things that we ran into as we kind of walked through the storyline and things like that. So I actually beat it on heroic, and now I'm beating it on legendary, and I'm about halfway through, and I have some pretty good insights. So you haven't touched it. That's interesting.
Nope. I promised I would I would experience every piece of Halo before touching Infinite.
Oh my lord. I think you're going to be sorely disappointed.
I feel like those need to be like library books on tape that you could just like ram through.
The build up to it. It'll be like Halo Infinite will already be done and it'll be the next one. Who do we got on there? Who is that?
Nice.
Who's their little friend?
Oh, he's like
oh my god, I never pay attention. This is my puppy Coda, and he likes sitting on my lap and being a pest.
Of course he does.
He's like, what's up?
I always get called out because I just throw him on my lap and just don't even think about it.
Yeah,
nice.
That's all right. A little
that
cute
was good.
puppies
Good
there.
cameo.
Hey, well, thanks for showing up on the show tonight and showing us on Fusion 360. Happy New Year! It's in 2021 right now, and by next time I see it, it'll be 2022.
Yeah, have a great time, guys. I'm glad that I was able to kind of show this stuff off.
No, that's super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. It was awesome.
All right. Well, Talon, you have a good night, and we're on to the next. We'll see you. Peace.
See you guys.
Oh, that was great.
That was a great session with
Totally,
Talon.
man.
I think
So smart on that program. It's great.
there was a lot of little pieces of it that I'm like, wow, I don't even know what you necessarily said, and I would want to go back and watch.
Oh yeah,
some of
totally.
those
It'll be good.
pieces
Like
in there.
me too.
Because I think like when I'm doing a sketch and then I'm like turning it into an extrusion is the hardest part. And so there's those layers that are on that left-hand side that looks like you stack up and you build these bodies and these chunks and then you kind of build it out because
it's just so different. It's such a different way of modeling things than I'm used to. I am used to like take a big chunk of a thing and you're seeing it in 3D space and you're just sort of like cramming it together, and it's like, you know, that's what I'm typically used to. And sometimes you would click it to 2D, right?
Sure.
Just enough to get things lined up or doing whatever, but then switching it back and like using it more in 3D, where this seems so much more like built towards like the engineering side of it, right? Which completely makes sense.
Absolutely. But then if you think about it, like it's if you start designing something in 2D, like just take yourself through that stepping process. Like before computers, you would sketch a 2D like thing of it, and then you do like another 2D version of it, and then eventually you would be like, yeah, you got to extrude it in your mind and all those other pieces.
Sure, that's true. Yep.
I mean, it makes complete sense to me. That was great.
Yeah. I definitely need to do more of that. So that's an Autodesk program, right?
Autodesk program. So you would typically have to spend like $2,500 annually to get that.
Really?
But you can get it annually, have to renew it as a hobbyist. And so I have it as hobbyist. I know that he has it's probably his education kind of discount for
What's
future
a hobbyist run?
The hobbyist is $0.
Oh.
And so that because they want you to do it. And if you're
Sure,
working
yeah.
for an organization and doing crazy things, but
Right.
like if you open a 3D printing shop or do something like that,
Yeah.
obviously don't be using the hobbyist license. Go and pay your annual fee because you're probably making plenty of
making
bank
bank.
off of it.
Yeah.
And if you know how to use it for those things, and this is a great way to educate yourself. So going back to this, let's see where we're at.
It doesn't print Fusion 360 as a watermark over all of my 3D designs when I get the free tier.
It's always in the back now because it's not just for 3D printing.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like this is going well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad we decided to do the glasses today.
It feels cool because, you know, it's got a lot of like empty parts to it, you know, like it's trying to show like 2022. And then it's like the thing, I feel like it's a cool print to be going back and forth and checking out.
And the thing that I'm a little nervous about is those.
Is it back to purple though? I thought we were in black. Is that just like the light is hitting it or
I
something?
think it's the light.
Okay.
And this is the terrible lighting scheme.
Oh
See,
yeah,
it's black
okay.
there.
Yeah, and then purple there.
I don't know why it's even purple there. Let's look at my
light
color.
is that?
Look at my color balance. Like things are terrible. Like this
Oh,
green.
sure. Yeah,
That does not
it's
look like the same kind of
it's sort of a
green.
little muddy.
All right.
This one's good though.
No, I think that's great. So I have been playing the shit ton
Yeah,
of
okay.
Halo
All right.
Infinite, and I gotta almost tell you like a little backstory on this because
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna segment into our video gaming section,
Yeah.
but I don't know if we're gonna jump right into play, and I don't know how to show all these clips and everything. To everyone.
You recorded yourself playing some.
So Halo, I did not think about it coming out. I really was like Halo campaign delayed a year, no co-op.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Great timing, Halo.
No, so I didn't even give a crap about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I go in and play it. I think I bought Game Pass for it for just a little bit.
You were like on stream, I think, and bought.
Yeah,
or maybe right before.
Right
the stream
before.
started.
And I played it and I was like, huh, that's pretty fun. I think I played multiplayer. I played multiplayer.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I was like,
And that was
oh,
fun.
man, these are tight controls. I think I could play
Totally.
it. So when campaign came out, I was actually a little bit like, I don't know. And then as I played it,
Yeah.
because it has open world, this is no spoilers, by the way, if you're watching, I was really excited to just see that they brought what I loved about Halo 1, Halo CE, into a new game.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's cool about it is there's been the moments that I always loved in the original Halo where like some little weird thing happens.
Oh yes.
And then you're just like, that
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think we got away from it in some of the later Halos. Like
They
I
were
think,
too like scripted, I guess, or something, or too like it didn't leave a lot of room for those weird things to happen, right?
No.
Where you just throw a shit ton of guys in weird places and let me go at it in a bunch of different weird ways. And then at some point I will shoot down a banshee as it's flying at me and it'll crash right in front of me and the elite will fly out past me, right? Like those dynamic moments happen
and I think they happened and then they kind of almost happened like you said on purpose, and then sometimes it just like it was too daunting. And so I think looking through the lore of Halo and the different things that are in there that are available, they picked the right little pieces and they gave you a sandbox to play in. Because my first comment, I feel like I'm doing a little bit of review on Halo Infinite here, but you know, this is we've came up to this point. I think in 2021, let's end our Halo run. I mean, we'll talk about Halo, I'm sure. But let's talk about a little bit about Infinite and before we kind of transition out of it and look at other things. But as I was looking at it and a lot of the specifics, I think it has some long-term play value in an open world kind of experience without ever even like ruining any of the storyline. Is that just in the way that it's built, it's like you think about it, if you're on a ring and you have a little place, you can just keep adding more places across the ring.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think that in general they stuck to a similar theme throughout some of the game.
Okay.
And so they did that really well. And then you have to do that in open world experience. Like you can't be in space and then like on this planet over here. And then over here, you have to kind of have a grounded perspective.
Well, but you could go to different, like Destiny is pretty open world, right?
Fair.
And you just like, now you're on the lava planet and now you're on the crazy, sand planet.
So you're not wrong. And, honestly, maybe that's what I'm saying is that in this story that they've built and how they've tried to like make the Master Chief what he is at this point, it seems like, hey, we're trying to rethink of Halo as a different type of game. Like this is a defining, changing moment to put it as an open world game.
Yeah, and I think they succeeded in many ways from what I played. I haven't gotten as far. We've been out, so I haven't been next to that. But I did play a bunch, like in between, right before we left, and so I probably have even more hours in since we talked last. But I certainly haven't beat it yet. But I don't know. I'll be interested to hear. Not spoilers of the back half of the game from you, but just sort of your impressions of how you thought, like, feel good wrap up of story. Like, would you satisfying ending? Seems like setting it up for a million other games. Is it that kind of what was your just like non-spoilery impression of the second half of the game?
That's a good question. I think that if you think about how games are going today and you understand the open world kind of environment, I think they're definitely building towards it continuing being an environment that you'll continue working with. You
can't make Infinite 2. You really boxed yourself in with that title, because Infinity is already Infinity. You can't call it Infinity 2. That seems ridiculous. It's like you're like a kid. You're like Infinity +1, So they had to. They knew that they were going to do that, right? This was going to be. This is probably 10 years of Halo right here. Like it's just going to get added to it and battle passes and little extra content. It's going to be Destiny.
But do you feel like, and this is where it's a little different, because like the battle passes might pander more to the multiplayer environment.
Oh yeah, well they'll be like story. Yeah, they'll be like just like Destiny 2, right? Like they got they do a story thing, and then there's multiplayer stuff that goes with it, and then there's those ridiculous, currencies that are all throughout it. And it's going to have all that garbage, right? I just feel like they didn't get it there in time. Mm-hmm. They were like, Microsoft is basically like, this thing has to be fucking great, right? And we can't get another year. Right. Like we're going to throw you in the garbage. So they just knew, they had some of it and they had a battle pass and they had those things. But I think all of that is coming. This is going to be just like Destiny 2.
I am hoping that they expand the co-op and the campaign kind of things that you do together. If they don't do that, I'm going to be sorely disappointed.
So do you think you would be cool with just new places on the ring. Like they just sort of look the same. There's sort of the hilly tree areas, and there's a new little tower with some dudes on it. There's like a big named guy at the top.
They're gonna have. Oh man, it's gonna be rough. They're gonna have to expand that universe a little bit more than it currently is.
Well, because I mean, it's sci-fi bullshit, right? So you could be like, oh, they went into the inside of it, and now there's a crazy cave system with lava, and you could have your lava shit, right? Like, or you could have your. So if they do that,
I think I would be happy. And as long as I can do it with friends, and long as you kind of had like little upgrades and things like that.
Yeah.
One of the things is I'm not sure how many of these clips I'm going to be able to get to, because how do you get to clips that you record?
Your Xbox Live. Do you have the Xbox app or whatever Windows app on this computer?
I do, but
so like open that up and it'll be in that.
But they don't go in there.
They don't go in there?
That's what I thought too. Because
I know I have saved something. I saved some I saved some shot of me like sticking a guy or something like that on the Xbox, and I wanted to show it to the children, and I showed it on the computer somehow.
So I logged in earlier and I tried to find it, and I mean we can even look at it live right now. So I'm just trying to find it. So I'm on my app. I installed it earlier today. I see all these like online things they talked about. So I mean,
all these people doxed at them because they're showing up on our insanely popular web show.
Watch out for getting doxed.
Watch out.
I'm sure that's gonna happen. Well, I can show you this one. This was just apparently because I posted it normally here. So in this particular clip, I just thought it was cool because I was using the ghost. And so I took a bunch of these clips, not showing anything amazing, but I remembered in like 2 and 3, it seemed like the ghost had a little bit of control problems.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to see how well the ghost would handle. And so I just like pushed it. So this is a legendary playthrough.
Legendary.
I believe it's legendary. Maybe it might be heroic. But
I feel like the ghost can deal out some damage, you know?
It surely can, but it can get killed pretty quickly. So I love just smashing guys.
Ramming guys. Yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like the sound is off a little on this.
I think it's completely off.
It's completely off.
And I turned your accessibility
so charming.
on. But so if you notice, like,
I love having the captions on, man. There's so many good things.
And then I turned it off for this one great clip that you would have loved to have it on for. But see how like easily you can just like you can peek into places. It feels like the controls are right on.
So some of the Warthog controls, I feel like, or the Warthog, like the UNSC vehicles, I feel like they feel a little like I could just tip that thing over in a second.
Right.
Like I'm like, you go fast as hell in those things, and any like rock and stuff, like you really got to keep it on the road. I feel like nice. This is good. Just up on top of the ghost. That's exactly where they expected, to go.
Yeah, well,
that dumbass guy.
And I think that was the clip. So it was like a quick and easy gutting of this facility with your piece. And so I felt like those moments captured the fun. So that clip was not main campaign. That was just open storyline play.
Yeah.
And that's fun. And there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
So one of the things, and I don't think this ruins storyline, is they've introduced more of a heavy hand on using bosses in Halo.
Using bosses?
And have you seen that up to this point, that they've used a few different...
Like the named characters
bosses.
You take out?
You went to Termonius. I think we went together through that guy initially. Yeah. And so
I've been to a few of them, yep.
So, okay, tell me, spoiler alert, if you've not played Halo Infinite and you're planning to do it, you can close your ears for a second. But yeah, first half is what we're spoiling at this point. So where did you get to?
Multiple guys. So I have
done... The last boss you fought that you remember.
Maybe the double guys, like where it's 2 guys and one's on the chopper and one's on the
and they were brutes.
Like
they're
always brutes, right? Like they're always brutes. They're sort of down in between the like armory guns. Like you take out the guns, like the 3 guns in some kind of order. And
those
then
were hard.
And
what are you playing on?
Heroic.
Okay, and were they hard? Huh?
Yeah. I mean, real good. Just I feel like I figured it out quick. Of just grapple and steal that chopper from that guy and then just kill him with the chopper.
Try that on it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, so like I like that. Like I like having those guys, those being story beats, those just being like, hey, you got to the top of this thing and now here's like a badass guy that's like has a ton of health and a hammer, or he has like 2 guys, or he has some kind of crazy backpack with, you know, flamethrower. Oh, that seems all like that's great. I think my biggest complaint with it at this point is it just feels all very similar, right? It feels like you're kind of going up to a thing and it sort of looks like the same thing, and you go through and there's rooms and they kind of like all the sort of aesthetic is kind of the same. And so those are fun, like little instances of that. But I feel like I like the Destiny or Gears 5 or stuff like that, where like the set pieces are crazier.
Sure.
It feels like they built their little like world that works with their 30 seconds of fun or whatever. And they were just like, holy shit, just like duplicate that a bunch of times and fill it up in different ways, which is fun. Like, I'm not saying that's not fun. And I think I will like enjoy enjoy that and come back to it. But I don't know if it's going to be like, that's my favorite game of all time.
Well, I think that there are some new dimensions to it, and we're gonna have to look into that and seeing if you enjoy some of those pieces. So
yeah,
hopefully you're still seeing the stream, which says that we're getting a little bit of a speed error here. We've had this before, but we might still be okay. We're getting good download. We're just not getting good upload, which sometimes happens. But it should just be a little bit delayed, which shouldn't be a problem at this point.
So what do you want to play?
I think we should play a little bit of Infinite tonight.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about one or two other things. So you said walking up to a room or up to an area in the online mode was not fun because it was just like a bunch of people killing things, and this is Halo Infinite, and then it was just done. Like you're thinking those kind of beats aren't fun, or what about those in repetition wouldn't be great?
It's just like it ends up feeling very similar just going through those scenarios, right? Like, and the thing that makes it not similar is the grapple hook. I feel like the grapple hook absolutely saves it,
Change
right?
things.
Because you can set up a kill room of this, you know, little area, right?
Okay.
And in no other Halos, you know, you're going through on legendary or heroic, like you're sort of having to nail it the same kind of way. Maybe you're sort of flanking them off to the left or whatever, or something, but you're kind of, you know, you're sort of boxed in. And so dying and then going through it over and over again.
Because you have different opportunities to do things.
And so now I feel like you can use that grapple hook and do it from different ways, right? So I feel like it's better in that sense with the grapple hook. But still, it just like... It just sort of feels like here's a room with these certain amounts of guys, and now we're gonna bring them in. Oh, this is a new clip.
So we got a new clip, and it's kind of speaking to what you're talking about. So, have you been using this bubble thing to be able to see your enemies?
I do it. I do it when they want invisible enemies.
I thought that's how I was gonna do it. I have adopted it, and it's changed my Halo strategy so much. And so I guess what I was wanting to show here is you can see those enemies through certain walls in certain kind of scenarios now.
Yeah.
And so it helps your gameplay in a whole different capacity if you have these little bubbles. And so I upgraded it because I was the same way. I was like, yeah, whenever invisible comes in. But then as you upgrade it, you can see like your health bar of your enemies and things like that.
Oh,
and you
sure.
can have multiple ones that you get into. So let me scoot forward in this clip here. So what I'm doing is, this is legendary, and trying to get through this part is a pain in the ass because you put your head out for 1 second and they like murder you.
Yeah.
And so I have this little skewer, but seeing them like this is super helpful.
Yeah, it puts that outline around them, right?
And
yeah, you're like skewering blue elites and it not killing them.
skewering them and then having to go through for the second.
Yeah, that's nice to have their health though. That is good.
But you have to get it all the way to the top level. And so you're like getting checkpoints, making sure they're there. And so you throw that down, and so you get 2 of them, right?
Okay, nice.
The whole point of this part is to really show you how amazing those things can be, because now you know that elite's there.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to pop out and sort of adjust your aim,
and find
right?
him.
Like
you know where you're gonna go. Sometimes you like pop out and you shoot, and you're like, oh, I'm shooting a rock because they're behind something, and so you lose that X-ray ability every so often. But do you see how that kind of changes a little bit?
Yeah, totally. Is it? Would you say that's you use that like
all the time
now?
Like
I could see that being especially a good.
I did not use it before.
Legendary like run weapon.
So I also want to show you one last clip, and this is then we'll maybe play a little bit of something. But this this particular one, I found this site online is to show you how ridiculous grappling can be. So I don't know how much grappling you've done, but I believe like I needed to get to the top of this stuff. So this is my typical day of grappling in Halo. If you're just climbing sheer rock faces.
Yes. I remember when I very first got the grapple, or when I very first started to get outside, and you could get the second layer of grapple hook that like
the 40%.
Does it 40% faster. I think I was going up to stuff and I was doing it little bits, like up on just little towers or little whatever, and the kids were like, just grapple up that mountain. I was like, all right, let's try it. And I just grapple up the entire side.
And if you get it right, do you see how it like catapults
swings you?
You have to swing yourself from it.
Yeah,
but that's
exactly.
crazy. Like
Totally.
you just ran up this huge.
It shows that they were very confident in their sort of geometry of this, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's this Skyrim like jumping up the side of the mountain, right? And you're just like jump, and you could just make it anywhere.
Tell me how ridiculous that was, though. With the amount of grappling that
or
we just had to
just
do.
like we were doing just like sheer clip. I mean, it's just like the side. It's not even up a mountain. It's just the side of like the where it cleaves like the Halo in half, right? It's just sort of like sheer walls, just going back and forth and doing that and being like, all right. How they stop you is they make the gaps too big in between. So you're like, I just want to get to the other side and I'll just grapple it. And no, they won't.
It doesn't do the thing.
Yeah, go around.
So you can. I did it. There's one level you can get to the top. You jump down and you nail it. And then you get there and they're like 10, 9, 8. You're like, before you die, you're like, what? I can't get back. I can't get back. Because they didn't want you to get to that part yet. So I thought that was great.
We were trying it. We had like the kids and I were playing, and we were trying to get to the other side, and we just had like the tiny little go-karts or what are those?
The
now
ATVs.
I can't remember. Whatever the little ATVs are, and we were just like ramping it off of a cliff and then ejecting yourself off of it and just like ditching the ATV and then getting like just far enough and then grappling and trying to get to the other side, and it will just like we could not get it high enough or enough altitude to get us over there.
So the last clip I have before we jump into this is, I got to tell you, I probably have been the most frustrated with this version of Halo than I've ever been in my life because of the bosses and playing on a Legendary. On Legendary, I've always been able to get it through.
Like squeak it out.
Because it's like a bunch of elites and a bunch of stuff thrown at you and you just have to get them all.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's bullet sponges. And so there's this point in the game, and if we're kind of talking about spoilers, you've already done this. It's where they have the laser.
Okay,
You've done the laser boss guy?
Yeah, drill.
The drill. You've done that whole mission, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so you're about to push this button, and this dude comes and he grabs you, and he fucking kills you. And, like, that was a pain in the ass. Tell me that was not a pain in the ass battle.
Yeah, totally, it was.
Think about it on Legendary.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you a quick tip, because I didn't even get the first part of it on camera. I went in, like, I quit after 2 hours. 2 straight hours. I'm not shitting you. I tried for 2 hours trying to get this thing, and I was like, I'm done. I was like, Heather's going to kill me because I shouldn't be playing this so long.
Should be doing something.
It was not the right moment to play that. So I put it down, and I came back, and if you remember, you can't save a checkpoint in Halo.
Yes, I have been screwed over by that.
It kind of goes back a little bit. So I
I
get to this part again, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I know he's coming. And I got a shit ton of fusion cores, and I just put him in a pile.
You saw this meme or whatever. This was like this game. I saw this on Reddit.
I saw
this on Reddit. It's like basically they just piled up a bunch of those like where you can grapple them and throw those like power things, and they just put them right where the cutscene ends.
Yeah,
and then like I think they like grappled above him and sort of had him come back towards you, and then grappled back over him again, so he's way over there, and then just like threw a grenade in there and blew everything up.
So that's how I started the level, because on Legendary it doesn't even kill him.
Yeah.
So I found the rockets, and then I got 5 of of those things, and I swear on our friendship that I did not see this
Nice.
beforehand. I just was so frustrated after 2 hours. And I haven't not cheated. I've not looked up skulls. I found an extra skull randomly.
Nice.
But then I went in here and I put these things and I blew his health down. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to beat this? And then I played this checkpoint probably like 20 times.
Because you got a checkpoint where you had blown him up like that?
Yes. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm out of bullets. And he's so hard to get down from here. Like,
Oh yeah, and now you're using like a battle
I think I might
rifle.
die right here. I die here. I die
Okay.
here. So you can see how hard it is. So I was
Yeah.
like, he just keeps hammering you.
Yeah.
And so I get the 2 rockets off. I wish I got the first part because it took me 2 hours to get to even this freaking point, this checkpoint.
I bet when you got that checkpoint, you were like, yes.
Yeah, so I blasted him, got the
Okay.
second. I'm like, oh my God, I got the second in.
Yeah.
If I had not got that grapple, I'm like, oh God, load.
Yeah.
Right,
Nice.
right in the crotch. I was like, I did it after hours.
Oh man.
Oh, it was good.
Do you expect? I mean, you've obviously beaten the game normally, so you know what you're in for a legendary run. Is there other parts of the game where you're just like, oh, how am I even?
Oh
gonna
my
do
God. I'm going to tell you.
That? Yeah, no spoilers.
I'm not going to spoil it, but there's bosses.
Sure.
Bosses suck.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Man,
I mean, that's the big.
It is there. So here's the thing. And this is where I wanted to get with this discussion. And I'm glad we're talking about it because I'm
too.
sorry. I've been playing
No, that's
so
great.
much freaking Halo. It's
Nice.
ridiculous.
That's awesome.
But what had happened here was that, okay, let me think this through here. Remind me what we were talking about. I just was looking at the chat and I distracted myself.
No, we were talking about Halo, talking about the bosses, talking
Oh,
about
okay.
how you were playing so much Halo.
With the bosses, and as you play them, you start realizing all of these little like specials are 100% necessary. And so my fingers now, and the new thing with the game is, okay, left down or left up or left right.
Right.
And then
Memorizing
so
those,
left
right?
up is your sticky grenades, and then it's right down is your little orbs. So you're like right down, orb, right, get back to your thing.
Yeah, grapple,
so you can grapple around.
yeah.
And so if you it's crazy because you start doing it, and if you hit it right, it makes a little noise like blink.
Okay,
And then
nice.
so you know you're on the right thing. And so my point is,
They do a lot of really great stuff like that.
Advice
really, yeah.
being, you will absolutely want to do this.
Like you can't, because I feel like I am still brute forcing my way through a majority of it, right? You're just like, like bosses, like I'll die like 4 or 5 times, and then you just sort of grapple around enough and you rocket launch them enough or whatever, and you get it. But I feel like, legendary, I imagine, is not nearly that. Have you turned on the grunt head explosion skull?
I have.
You started using that. Is it good? Is it like, does it do the same little noise and same little confetti and all of that?
It does, except it's a little bit better. And it's for whatever reason, I don't think my game has like done any sync, and I can't tell if it's because I'm just not in it or whatever. But I can't like load.
Sometimes it takes a while.
Where my stuff is, because I have at the very top is my legendary run, which I don't want to just like randomly start something and then have it like unsync from the game. So what do you want to do? You want to?
Is that what you want to do? You want to play more on your legendary run, or is it crazy, just tedious with like dying a million times?
I don't think it is, but I don't think it's loading, so I don't know if we can get to it. It would be the problem.
It probably got erased. I'm sure.
And if it did, I would probably literally just quit. I'm not sure.
Quit forever and never play again. Cancel my live subscription.
Heather would be like, "Thank
Oh,
God."
Geez,
No,
that's all it's gonna take. Sneak in here and cancel it myself.
Yeah, no, because it's been a pain in the ass just to get to where I need to do. So let me see if I can. Oh, we don't want to play this. Nobody can see what I'm doing.
Sometimes you got to start something else, or like manually quit it.
Like go into a new mode. Oh yeah, just do a manual.
Just
quit.
start and quit game or whatever, and then start it back up. Sometimes it's wonky. I got my Xbox, so my Xbox Series X was not supposed to ship until January 4th, and then I checked it and they were like, no, it's going to be here today. And
Oh, you got it?
And it was today when we literally came in.
How awesome.
And I know, like, and they were like, okay, it's going to show up sometime today before 9 p.m. And I was like, we're not going to get in till like 5, and we don't have dog sitters coming over anymore or stuff like for that whole day. Like, is it just my Xbox going to be sitting there on my porch for hours at a time? Probably says Xbox all over it or some garbage. And no, like, we literally showed up half an hour after we got home.
How lucky is that?
Super lucky. And then I went, great, and I set it under the tree because we have not opened any of our presents.
Oh my god!
I'm basically ditching out on our Christmas Eve at our house.
Oh my Jesus! You need to get your ass home. How can we even play any games tonight?
No, we're good. I already explained. The show must go on.
You must have it every Thursday. This is for you. This is for you. If you're watching right now, just consider yourself lucky.
That's right.
If I can't get this to sync, though, we're not playing that. We're gonna have to.
We can do something else.
Let's play a multiplayer game.
Here, hold on. I want to see the 3D print.
It's a good thing. You should think about that. I'm not thinking we're having a good time. It's loading this quite a long time.
The thing that made me think of why I wanted to mention that I got the Series X is because this game takes forever to load on my OG Xbox One. It does. Not, like, just everything in between, anytime you die, anytime just starting the game, it'll just sit there and load and load and load, and then you're like, okay, now you can select campaign. And then I'm allowed to select campaign, and then it loads and loads and loads, and then it says, okay, what do you want to load a checkpoint, or do you want to start new? And everything takes a while in this, which I get. It seems crazy that it even works on an old Xbox One.
I don't think we're gonna have good luck with playing on. See, look at we're completely offline with some of this. So let's go to the academy. Did you play through the tutorial?
So I played through definitely the tutorial, which I thought was great. Like, I thought they did a great job doing that.
Right.
The weapon drills, I was having a hard time being like, how do I get better at these? Like, it seems like it's so limited. Like, you only have so many bullets, right? And you only have so many things. I guess it's getting every single bullet into every single
bullet counts.
Head, I guess.
And just tearing people apart.
Yeah, because I was getting some 2 stars and being like, I'm not sure how I'd make that much better.
And you did?
No, I didn't. I got a bunch of 2 stars. I don't think I have any 3 stars.
I feel like since we're offline mode, let's run this tutorial for anybody that's a virgin to the Infinite experience, because I thought it was great. Like, I slept on the tutorial, and I'd have to say this is, I thought, one of the better kind of intros to a game.
Does some good, like, storytelling and things like that. We could switch off back and forth.
Well, there's not. I don't know. We can try to play the campaign, I suspect.
Yeah.
I wish it would have done a sync, because in that legendary run we could have gone with. But this, like, they really spent time on making the graphics look great.
Yeah. Like, I would be pissing myself if I was a regular person and there was a bunch of Spartans and gigantic brutes around me. I would be like, it would be like being next to a wild tiger or something. You'd be like, I'm just getting the hell out of here.
That's what she's doing?
Totally. I would be running. But there are times where she's sort of sticking around a little, right?
Like, oh, let's put my...
Yeah,
how did her backpack... Well, I guess, in the heat of the moment.
Sure.
Those things are a pain in the ass.
The brutes with, like, the big...
A gazillion things. They were like sponges.
Yeah.
Bullet sponges.
A Spartan is a symbol.
Yeah, like, I'd be running the hell past this dude.
Be like, oh my god, thank you. That was really nice. I like the shields in this game.
Me too. They look cool.
They look really good.
Darkness. We are hope.
Oh How much money do you think it takes to make one of those little drop pods that just is instantly done?
I know.
Door
right?
off. I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they
We killed
got
these
like
4 brutes
they're all just 3D printed.
with metal.
Yeah.
And together,
When is this supposed to be?
together,
Is there a
Year?
year?
we are unstoppable.
It's like 22 something maybe.
Is it a couple hundred years?
That was a good intro thus
Yeah.
far.
Candidates, are you ready? Yes, ma'am. I can't hear you.
It's Sergeant Johnson's mom.
Again. Good. Who's first?
Because they when you're a Spartan, they made John taller, right?
Well, he's just naturally a little bit taller.
No,
yeah.
well, but I think like in those books, didn't they? I mean, they did a whole thing. As I'm kind of looking.
Yeah, it was like really, really low.
Hey, easy there. A lot's happened.
Did you know you can sort of like look around in cutscenes? Like you can kind of move the camera a little bit, like up and down, and
Yeah, it
just a little. I always like that.
We're gonna need to say that again. They're missing? All of them.
foreboding.
We just got word that the Infinity is missing.
Let me give you
The
one
ring's gone.
spoiler from the game.
No one knows where.
Ryan.
Oh God, is there a ton of that?
Listen,
If you could choose the way you would die.
we built this facility off the grids to train.
I feel like that's not a spoiler. I've heard that like so many times already.
It's not gonna be easy.
It's
But I
just,
believe
it just gets to the one part. There's one bad part of the game.
Welcome to paradise.
If you're playing through missions and you want to do open world, but there's still something you need to do. Let's say the Spire mission. Well, there's a Spire mission, but no, you want to go save Marines. I'm really interested about that Spire, Master Chief. We should go to the Spire.
New like the weapon.
You're like
talking to you.
you're going you're like killing people and like intense. I'm really excited about the Spire. We should go to the Spire.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they gotta keep reminding you what exactly we're doing here, right?
I think it's because they linked it to like unlocking certain things. They're like, oh, if you don't do that, all your little fun part.
Well, and you're gonna be crazy OP at that point, right? You're like, I'm gonna have grapple hooks and all this stuff all leveled up, and
See, I love this. Look at how cool this like what's that guy? What's
this little
his
training
job?
facility. He's
Oh, man,
like,
let's check in. What does he have? Candy bars there?
yep, and he also has some other thing. Yeah,
A little
Sandwich.
sandwich. Can you
just
make
just
it move?
straight on the counter though, man.
They eradicated diseases in the
Like
future. It
put
doesn't matter.
the see, I got to take that straw off, put the sandwich on top of the soda. I feel it's sloppy.
Wait, is he just poking the keys?
He's like a 2-finger typer.
Oh, he's
No, I feel like that's that's
Yeah,
reasonable
pretty
reasonable animation. I mean, nothing's moving on the screen, which is hilarious,
Yeah.
but for what it is.
Maybe it's special like visibility goggles on. Okay, I love this.
These little guys.
It's a good way to build the structure, right?
Oh yeah,
Everyone
that is good.
needs their own
Yeah,
AI.
that's true.
Can't have everyone have the weapon.
No.
Which one did you pick?
Why is my hand just sticking out?
You are always in the ready position. Right?
I'm in like
let's-
combat
you're-
ready.
You're in this position all the time.
Yeah, like Spider-Man.
Oh, I'm gonna get you. That's your position.
They're like, all right, Master Chief.
That's
whatever,
100%
man."
your
He's-
position.
He's like,
He's ready to grab that
he's
AI.
intense.
He's that kind of a guy. You're not even Master Chief anymore. You're Master Higley.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like Master.
Your AI
Something.
is installed.
All right.
Calibrating armor baselines. Spartan shielding recharge.
Great.
Hey, what's up, Disturbed? Yeah, they're augmented. We're talking about 117 being a little taller. Yeah, they put him on stilts. And
Well, yeah, they like extend. They like,
break their bones.
yeah, totally, and like
Pull 'em apart.
extend their leg bones and things like that.
Projecting waypoints onto
So
your
when that
life
like
path.
little girl is running around with the Spartan, she seems tiny, but now she's like a Spartan herself and all giant.
Yeah. They broke her bones.
Totally. I mean that was always the thing, right? That like hardly any of them even lived, right? So it would be like half these kids
Do the slide. Tell everyone what you're doing. This is.
Oh, this is like.
training.
Oh, this is the training. I
This is
didn't.
all training.
Did they let you do the stuff before? Okay, so they'll let me sprint.
Yeah, punch
Pew!
that. Ooh. Oh,
Punched him in the. Am I still laying down? No, I guess I'm just sitting.
Wait, what's in there? Oh, there's a little more dummies in that closet. There's your training punch
Yeah,
dummies.
there's a.
I love it. There's a little code you have to put in there. I want to go punch all of them.
You're like more dummies to punch.
There are a few. You know, I heard Sam might be on watching us tonight. I don't know if he's out there. And I also heard
Oh,
he might not
snap.
be feeling well.
Oh no. That's not
But
good.
if you showed up, that's awesome. Thank you.
Is that me punching?
I thought that was like a grunt or a brute.
Oh, okay. It's a brute. It just looked like a guy, just some
Vector
dude.
Diagnostics complete. Exceptional performance. Shall we rendezvous with the commander at the weapon range?
Yeah, let's do
Pew!
that.
How much sliding do you do?
Not much,
Me neither.
but it's a popular thing.
That feels like a multiplayer thing, right?
Yeah, you gotta
Refined
learn it.
weapons for refined tastes. Let's take this opportunity to arm ourselves.
We got some good lore in the chat from Disturbed. Spartans in Halo 4
Onward to
are
the
on
weapon range.
Spartans 4. Wait, 4s? Spartan 4s. They still aren't as good as Spartan 2s, but they're better than Spartan 3s. Those damn Spartan 3s were lame.
Those like generations of them,
Yeah,
right?
they have different kind of
You're dismissed.
phases.
Come.
You're dismissed, no face.
Now let's
thought
see
that was
if your
mean. He's like, oh,
marksmanship is
okay.
just as sharp.
He had a mask on. He was trying to be safe.
We'll
That's
set
good.
you
It's like
up
not
to
like
find
Spartans
out.
care about any of that
Take your
shit. They're
time.
just
Get a good feel
spreading
for
it
it.
everywhere.
They have their boosters.
I'll be watching from the observation deck.
You probably have a booster that gets made in their suit for them.
Yeah, totally.
I shall update your crosshair color when your target is at optimal range.
Oh man, this is gonna be great. I'm terrible at these. I feel like I need to be moving more. Like I feel like I'm always like if I'm not, like if like I can't just stand there and do it. Like I need to be moving with it. Cause like if I just stand here, as soon as I start moving on to the next target, it's like very awkward to.
Zoom with your weapon for better visibility on long-range targets.
It's just because you just get pushed into constantly running around.
This is the
An enemy should
This is the weapon that I use in the game the most, I would say.
I
This is the one I get this and the drum shotgun.
Did you see my little like blingy thing?
Yeah,
on there?
yeah, whatever that silly thing is.
My bling, dude. You gotta get your drip.
those targets.
What
Okay,
is-
so I would say that was my bullet shooting device
Yeah, the
until I played on Legendary.
oh sure. Like I'm sure you need cheaper weapons, like weapon
My
combos.
my weapon combo on Legendary,
No
BR, and
Cause I hate the battle rifle.
oh god,
I
you
cannot-
have to get used to it.
I
It is
like
so
I can't
weapon
line up
choice.
people with that. Do I have no? Oh, throwing grenades.
Yeah, it's like gazillion grenades. You have to get on that. That battle rifle is like your lifeline, because you can't get close in Halo Legendary. Like that guy just popping up and down. So as a recruit, this is how you become a Spartan. Apparently, Spartan 4s were the volunteer Spartans. I loved how that one bounced out.
Yeah, I wasn't even going for that guy.
You got to do the double. You got to. Whoa. Can you kill yourself? Probably not. How can you not kill that guy? Jesus. All right, you got it.
Meet us for the final
It only took 37 grenades to kill that
You're like,
guy.
maybe we should rethink the infinite grenade budget because that's costing us quite a bit.
Yeah, they're like, you're like, how's your legendary Halo run going, Ryan? Well, I haven't gotten past the first level.
I can't.
You didn't like.
Friendly
Whatever.
fire. So they don't injure.
Fuck out of here. They won't let me do it.
What are you supposed to do?
All weapons are out of ammo.
You're supposed to like trade? Oh, you're supposed to find one.
They just
Go find a weapon. See, it's up there. They show you.
oh, I got to get one of these.
Oh, there's a power. Oh, this is the one, man.
Straight from Oni research. Quite potent
Throw it.
indeed.
On the ground. Scan. You do scan.
Not if I already know where it's from.
It's fair.
These particular dispensers deploy powerful weapons. Rather exclusively, I might add.
Find a new weapon.
You got a rocket at least.
I got a rocket launcher.
You found some
Grenades.
nades. What's that? Oh,
New
These
equipment.
contain specialized equipment.
you got your little
to give you the
boost.
edge in combat.
I don't use the boost often.
No. What does the powered up boost give you?
Like it's faster refreshes and multiple boosts.
Multiple boosts. Do you think multiple boosts would be worthwhile?
I think that in certain levels, so
You can
one of the
find
things
new
about Halo
weapons
that's
inside
different
These dispensers.
is it feels like they want you to go like guts out, just balls to the wall on some of these.
Yeah.
And like if you don't get somebody's shield down in the first 2 seconds and dodge a billion things, you're like screwed.
Oh, I don't have no. I have no.
Oh, you have no grapple.
No
You're
grapple.
Used to your grapple.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
I just jumped and then stared at a wall and then fell.
So use your scanner, right?
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Is that the commander? There you go.
No, there we go.
Feeling oriented? Ready for something a little more real? Now that we've got
See,
you
I can
calibrated, it's
look
time
around
for
a-
the real test. The
No,
live
maybe not.
fire exercise. Ready up, Spartan.
Live fire exercise. Love it. The kids thought I was badass when I was playing this. I didn't tell them that it was.
Oh, you
bots.
were on, you were on the bot. If you change the bot difficulty,
No.
you can change it and they'll own you. I mean, you can't. You can't
Yeah.
You can't
Oh,
use
I'm
it on
sure.
this. I was like, humans they're done.
You're like, it's the age of the machines now.
Yep.
Ah.
I like how they don't chase you down. Like once you're gone.
Yeah, that's the thing. They sort of back off, right? They're not like relentless. Like another person would have been like, heck yeah, I got his shields down. He's done.
But if you play on some of the other ones, I was actually impressed. So one of the things that you can do if you play a custom game, you and I could play custom games against each other, and then it backfill. Say we play 4 versus 4, and you're on red team, I'm on blue team. Once you kill this bot, Ryan. Kill this
I'm not
bot
going to be
already.
able to.
'Cause you're not concentrating on my amazing thing I'm telling you here. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Is if we were playing multiplayer 4 versus 4, but just you and I were in the game, you and I would have backfilled bots play for us. So we'd play 4 on 4 against each other, but with 3 bots.
Excellent headshot.
Oh yeah, I could. I mean,
So
that
like,
makes sense,
let's say
right?
you're playing with a bunch of friends. Like, let's say you had 3 friends and you're just like a kid. And you're like, I really want to play 4v4 custom games.
Yeah.
You could build your custom game and put the bots in there to do the extra work unless you can get other people to show up. It's pretty nice.
that I feel like that is completely helpful and an easy thing to do.
It's never been in a Halo before.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
problem.
exactly. And when you think about it, you're like, why hasn't that been in everything? But
They got 1 kill. Was that your death? Did they
Did-
kill you? Did they
I
get
don't
you?
think I died yet.
So they killed one of your other bots. Your bots are doing good.
Yeah.
I think in 1901. This is a routing. That guy is AFK.
My bot is AFK. Where did that guy go? I mean,
it's-
I would have been dead multiple times with even a 3rd grader playing this, I'm sure.
I think you're distracted by the little blinky things on my gun.
Yeah, also you have these weird yellow, which is
They're
unusual
amazing.
to me. Get over here.
What's wrong with the yellow, man? I
I
wanted
blew
it
my
to
own
stand
guy.
out. What does this go to? 25 or 13
Or,
seconds, Ryan?
or
10 seconds?
3,000.
Get one more kill. Of course, the guy that's AFK. I like the AFK a bot.
He was standing. He was doing stuff.
What?
I mean, he was like
Around?
reloading. I don't know.
You did good. Really good, in fact. I knew
Damn
I
right
was
I did.
just about
I
to
feel
go.
like it's good. Good tutorial.
Like, what other Halo has ever done a tutorial to that?
Especially like multiplayer, like thinking about it in that way and not just you getting your ass handed to you.
Well, and that was my comments about the other part of it. Is I
Yeah.
think that they were trying to like make multiplayer accessible. So let's say you have like a 5-year-old that wants to play Halo, just put it in a bot match.
Totally.
Here you go.
Yeah, that seems like I think Trenton played through a bunch of bot matches before he was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable just jumping into this.
Did he think he was playing against people?
No, he knew. I mean, I told the children as soon as I won the game because I mean, even playing it for the first time, I'm sure I went like 15-3 or whatever.
Sure.
And the kids were like, "Wow." It's like, "Oh, this is bots." I told them at the end.
Just getting some bots.
Yeah. Or I think we were even like me and the children were kind of like, "Are these?" I feel like they would have been better, that
Really?
kind of- yeah.
You should bump it up and see if you can.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think we were like, I don't think these are real people, or they suck.
So I think there's either an issue with Halo or an issue with my internet connection, which is probably what it always is.
Sure.
Damn you, Comcast. But if we don't load Legendary, let's see where
Yeah,
we're
just
at.
yeah.
Because I feel like, see these games show me like 6 hours or an hour in.
I think you're totally screwed. I think like
30 hours in. What if
you're-
it like it says I'm in offline mode in the upper right hand corner?
Oh, offline. Yeah, that is weird.
So
I don't know
that
what
would
would-
make me think like, can I play this Master Chief Collection? See, like it got the pass and the early stuff on.
Like quit Halo Infinite and
So I
start
did.
it back
This
up.
is-
Oh,
this
did
is-
you already did that?
This is Halo Master Chief Collection.
No, I'm saying, did you physically like quit Infinite, like
How
where
do you
you
do
go in? So like go into the main screen,
Okay. I'm in home.
like go to Infinite, hit start.
Wait, more options? More options. No. You want me to
Whatever the other one is.
start it? Okay, I'm starting it.
No. It's like a manage game or something. Like there's something where you could just be like and quit.
Home. All right.
Let me see.
You're gonna just do it.
There we go.
And
Quit. And then start it up. And so that's like hard quitting it basically. It's like all
Sure.
F4ing it or whatever. And then starting it back up again.
I'm
We'll
not
see.
having. I'm not
Maybe
feeling
it
like
could
this
be. Yeah. Man, what if so? Are you nervous that your entire game is gone?
Not particularly.
Because
Even
you
if-
just hit continue, right? And something would happen.
you would usually go to continue and you would load in your games, but the three, because I deleted those ones and I started with, because there's 4 save slots,
Oh, okay.
and then once you get through those slots, that's it.
Really? You can only have 4 slots?
Yeah. 4 different games for 4 different difficulties,
I suppose that's
or at
true.
least that's how I was looking at it.
Yeah. I guess you could just have a bunch of different you wouldn't have, like, if you switch to a different profile, it would have its own 4 slots, right?
Yeah, each profile has 4 slots, but I suspect if you were playing on one account and you wanted to have 4 run-throughs, if
Yeah,
you
that's
just had
true.
one, then you can do that. There's Disturbed. Trying to play here. Yeah, see, I think it must be there's something wrong with my Xbox or something, because I can't get it to. Maybe there's an update or something. But you would think that it would prompt me to update. They usually do that.
Yeah. Sir, talking about battle pass like Fortnite. Yeah. I mean, I feel like every multiplayer game has a battle pass in it now, right? Like Rocket League has a battle pass, like I just feel like that's the way you make up for money that it takes to keep it going, right?
Right.
And I'm fine with that. I'm like, hey, I'm probably not going to get every battle pass. If you want to show me cool things and it feels like I would get in there and actually use it, I will give you $10 for that battle pass. Like, and I get some cool new armor and stuff. Like, that just is what it is. I feel like that's modern video games.
I feel like the armor is where I go in and I'm like, I'm going to buy a battle pass today. I said that. I was like, I'm going to go do the thing. And so I go in to buy it and I'm like, what am I buying it for?
Yeah.
Like, what am I getting for it? What do you get from a battle pass?
I feel like you get something for what you're playing, right? So like when you play a bunch of multiplayer, I feel like if you play enough multiplayer to get through a majority of a battle pass, like it's worth it to pay the $10, right? Because every time you're earning levels, you're like, holy shit, I am getting a little piece of whatever, and I'm getting this new color and stuff. Like it's the motivation to sort of go in and do that, and just the extra little bit. And so I feel like if you have time to play the multiplayer and you want to go in there and you want to do that, like you may as well spend $10 and get the little, the extra little pieces of it, because I feel like it's just that extra hit of being like, yeah, I'm playing it and it's fun and I'm getting these little pieces when I like level up because I played for 2 hours. Like there's just that little extra, and it's like, what is $10, right? So I don't get them when I know I'm never gonna play this, right? Like I'm never going to have enough time.
So here's the question: like one of the battle passes is like $89
for one of the battle passes.
For with all the like little pieces, you get a battle pass and a bunch of coins or whatever they have in that. It's like $89.
Yeah, right. That's they got to get some whales in there.
Yeah, Disturbed. I did see you online too, and I saw you throw out the message. But when I'm in Infinite, it's giving me hell saying that Infinite's offline. Like I can't literally go to it for it to sync any of my games.
Oh look, everyone. Oh, okay, it doesn't show it.
Yeah, nobody could see it. Nobody could see what I was just doing. We're gonna try it one more time. If we can't do that, I think we're gonna have to call it a night.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have an early show.
We actually showed a lot tonight, and actually, I want to hear your opinion, and we're gonna finally talk about Halo after you beat the damn thing.
Yeah, totally. By the time next time comes around, you'll probably beat it on.
Oh God, I don't know, maybe.
Or you'll be further in your legendary run. I'll certainly beat it. We can do like a hard spoiler, be like, here it is. Just don't watch after this because we're gonna.
I feel like spoilers. Like Talon is not gonna be able to watch our show for how long to watch. I respect the guy.
Totally.
Like,
no, it's like
stay away from
you want full knowledge of Halo under your belt. I wonder how many books they've done. How many books do you think? Well, is that what he was talking about?
Yeah,
he was talking about reading the books, right?
Right.
And that he was like halfway through Reach or something, right? I know Reach is a big one. That is one of the only ones that I can even remember. Like all of the early John stuff, right? Where like how Halsey chose him.
It was the initial stories, but then I'm sure there was a crap load of books after that. I think we're done. I think 343 is gonna say screw you on.
Which is offline.
It said offline.
That's too bad. Oh well.
And Disturbed I can't check because I think he was a little outside the game. Now we have the Mister, but I feel like that's gonna take a little bit of setup, and we've been playing with that Mister. Have you played any more of it? So let's talk about the next year here. We have a lot of fun things that we're going to do. So we learned a little bit of Fusion 360. Which I want to do
Fusion 360. I want to do Fusion 360. I want to do a bunch. I have a vinyl and like pen plotter at my house, which I've been playing around with more, right? For like cutting vinyl and doing stuff. And I've been doing projects with that. So I want to like combine those two cool creative things like together and make something or just talk about it. We got the Mister, the FPGA Mister, which plays like all the old school games and everything. I was looking up. We watched the original Home Alone with the children over a break. It just like happened to be on something. It was like, hey, do you want to watch Home Alone? Cool, that's a good Christmas movie. So we watched Home Alone, which is amazing.
Classic.
And I was looking up stuff, and there was like, and just for some reason, I was for tonight. I was like, in case we need something to play, I was like, well, what are good like Christmas games or what's? And apparently there is a Home Alone for the Sega Genesis that is like actually very good.
Really?
And like they made it for. It came out for like everything. It came out for the Nintendo and the Super, and they're all called Home Alone.
Yeah.
But they're like all completely, like some of them are terrible. On the some Game of Boy. Them are like, the Game Boy ones. I own it. Like Home Alone 2. And like some of like they're just completely different, even types of games. Like some of them you're like, they're the what is the name of the the wet crew or whatever, because they flood
yeah,
houses,
yeah.
right?
The wet bandits.
Like the wet bandits, like they're driving in front of the houses, and you have to like stop them from doing things. Like there's platformers where you're
seems
inside the house.
interesting.
Like there's anyway. So I was like, oh, that could be like a fun. So I feel like getting into old Mister game of just like, and I'll start downloading more of those and doing more of that stuff. Like I feel like that'll be a fun thing for the new year.
That sounds good. You know, we had a question. What kind of plotter are you using? What program are you using?
So we have my in-laws bought my wife a like Cricut cutter, which is like a very hobbyist like Hobby Lobby. Michael's has an entire row dedicated to to the Cricut cutter, but like it had just been sitting on our desk for gathering dust for years at this point, and we have all this vinyl and all these different papers and everything, and so I've just been like the necessity came that I needed to use it for like Christmas stuff for the kids to do.
Sure.
And there was a few other things that I needed it, and so I set it up, and it was like crazy easy to use, and I was like, hey, that is cool. I have a ton of vector art that is easy to add to something that will cut it out of vinyl or draw it onto something else. And so anyway, I've just been thinking of fun, cool, like ways to use that thing.
That's sweet. No, I want to definitely integrate some different pieces, like the vinyl. Do you have to like get a huge sheet of it that you put on there
and you cut it out and then you weed it. Like weeding it is the whole thing.
What's that?
Hey, we'll have to talk about it. Like I worked at a sign shop for many, many years. And so weeding stuff, that can be very Zen like. You go through, basically you're going through and picking out the parts of that you don't want of the vinyl, right? Because it cuts it out of one flat sheet and then it's just all there, but you got to peel away the crap that you don't want.
Okay.
So then you weed that all away until you just have the design you want.
Weeding,
and so you're weeding it out of the way,
that's so
right?
Sneaky.
Yeah.
I like
So
it.
anyway, so we'll be talking about that. I mean, it's not nearly as in depth as 3D printing, right? Like it's sort of, it's more old school and it has less, applications for it, but still, cool creator stuff, which I like.
No, I love that. It was funny. I was looking today on the 3D printing on Reddit, and there was a guy that did the thing that most people want to do but never ever achieve.
Yeah.
And they're like, I built a 3D printer out of an old printer, a scanner, like a plotter, like just a bunch of stuff. And there's huge bolts and things like holding this thing together. But then they showed it and it looked badass. And he did all that. And everyone's like, oh my God, that's that special design that does this. And I'm like, what design?
So he just took apart a bunch of other things and like Frankensteined himself together a 3D printer.
He basically Frankenstein with
Wow.
just a bunch of parts.
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say.
when you tear apart something like, wow, if I knew electronics, I could use that circuit board for
Yeah,
something.
oh,
Like it was
totally.
like, I wish I had a picture of this thing like just chunked onto each other, like just duct taped and like
Right,
working.
yeah. It's like a hot glue gun onto the side. I mean, I do see that, like, a printer is right, like an arm that goes across,
Yeah.
and it has like its own track that it's on,
Uh-huh.
and it's very particularly going back and forth. I mean, I could see all of that being used in a 3D printer. I feel
It
like
seems so. So he did it, and it's badass.
That's
So
awesome.
Let's go make 3D printers.
Yeah.
There was a guy that made a portable one, and it was super small. It was like this big, and then it would like fold out, and it would
okay.
actually work.
I was
like,
gonna say
holy
because
shit.
it would need that base, right?
Oh, and
Like-
it prints upside down, so it would print like
oh, it like
this way.
raises up.
It was, I can't remember how it was, but it was just like it had to print upside down or something.
That's cool. All cool things that we want to look at
We're not building that upside down printer there. Let's look at the print right now. Where are we at?
How much
coming along
does
well.
it say? How long this has been going? 2 hours, right?
2 hours. We're only on layer 5, so
Wow.
41% though. So I mean, there's
Hey.
not a lot of layers on it. Because if we were looking at our
It said
setup
about
here-
5 hours, right? Didn't it? These sound like these are going to be your 2022 glasses.
Yeah.
so actually, we need pictures of you wearing these.
4 hours and 23 minutes. I don't think we're gonna get there.
No.
I'll mail them to you.
Between now and tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna overnight them to you.
Overnight them. We need this. This is content.
Right when it's done. As long as I get him there by midnight, right?
That's-
11:59.
That's how overnighting things work.
Overnight him. Just drive it up to you.
Yeah.
Leave it on your porch.
Exactly.
That's where it's at. So I think we're gonna have to call it tonight because we can't get into Legendary, but that's okay. I think we had a lot of good insights on that. As far as that 3D print, I'll definitely take some pictures in 2022. I think we're gonna figure out if we're the double drop down, the drop down. I think this is double drop down the show.
Great.
That is our show name. And we'll see you around in 2022. So.
See you around. See you next